Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. Back in the car today. I've spent the last couple of minutes scraping the ice off the windscreen, so ready for another car video. I'm on my way to a place called Media Market or Media Markt, however you pronounce that word. And I picked myself up a new camera, a new GoPro. Well, actually it's my first GoPro, and I'm going to substitute one of these cameras that I've got here for a new GoPro 4K quality video. So we're going to go and pick that up now, and on the way there we'll have a bit of a chat about what's going on here in Spain and maybe have a bit of a reply to some of the comments that have been popping up on the video recently. So let's go. Now, as you can see, it's a lovely sunny day today, but cold, 3.5 degrees Celsius currently, and a fairly typical day here in Madrid, a typical winter's day in Madrid. Cold but sunny. I think the top today is going to be around 12, maybe 13 degrees, so not too bad. But compared to what the weather was like last week down south in Almeria, we can't really compare the two. And that's the special thing about Andalusia at this time of the year. Obviously it's not the best weather down there, but a lot better than the rest of the country. And the temperature's a lot higher than the 3.5 or 4 degrees that we currently have here in Madrid. In fact, last week I think when I was driving around down there, it was about 17, 18, even 19 degrees Celsius. And as you can see, I've got the winter jacket on today. And down there last week in Almeria, a winter jacket was not necessary at all, even at night. No need for a jacket. Now, as I said, I'm on my way to Media Markt, or Media Market, however you pronounce the word in English, not really sure. I'll just stop for this lady to cross the road with her little doggy. And I've picked myself up a new GoPro Hero 8, which has 4K quality. So I'm hoping that there's going to be an improvement to the quality in these car videos that I do, especially the camera that points out onto the road. This camera here is going to stay at 1080p, but I'm going to try to get a 4K image to show you the sights. So I'm upgrading, and I want to say thanks to everybody that has supported the channel over the last year or so with a donation, or maybe you bought some merchandise, and I'm using that money to upgrade equipment. I've set up a new platform or a way to support the channel called Buy Me a Coffee, and it's actually quite good because you've got different options to support different creators like myself, buying me a coffee or a beer, and you can buy 1 coffee, 2 coffees, 3 coffees or beers, as many as you want. Look at this clown here parked on a roundabout, absolute tool. And we'll go off here into the industrial area and find our way to Media Market. So as I said, anybody wanting to support the channel, a new way to do it called Buy Me a Coffee, quite good. And if you want to just buy 1 coffee, no dramas. If you want to buy a couple of coffees, no dramas. I think somebody a couple of weeks ago bought me 10 coffees. So thank you very much for that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm able to upgrade my equipment to give you guys better quality videos. That is the objective. Now I'm coming into the shopping area here. We've got a Leroy Merlin over there on the right. And on the left, where I have to go to here, we've got the Conforama, which is some type of, they have furniture and white goods and things like that. Oh, I actually can't drive there, but I'll cut across here, no dramas. And Media Market, as we can see there. Now I'm just going to park in here. Nice little spot here. And go and pick up this camera. So I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back, but I've got some bad news. The camera's not ready because I bought 2 things the other day. I bought a memory card and a new camera. The memory card is ready. That is what I have just picked up. but the camera is not. So apparently the camera is not going to be here until tomorrow, maybe the day after. So a little bit gutted, to tell you the truth, because I was looking forward to testing out the new camera, but what can we do? So we'll go for a drive through the industrial area here. We'll have a bit of a chat. I'll go and have a coffee because I've got nothing else to do until I have to edit this video. So that's what we're going to do. But as I said, a little bit gutted at the moment that I haven't got my hands on that new GoPro, but what can we do? So I'll just work my way out of the car park here. And as I said, have a bit of a chat about a few things. The first thing on my agenda today is the fact that Australia, or Western Australia, I'm not going to say Australia because Australia has already opened up, or at least some states have already opened up. But Western Australia has announced that it's going to open up as of the 5th of February. Big announcement made yesterday or the day before by the Premier there, Mr. McGowan, that Western Australia is reopening to national and international visitors. And I heard something like 630 days or something that it's been closed. So a long time, closed to international visitors. I think people have been able to get home if there was some type of special flight coming in and you had to go through that quarantine period. But the key here apparently is that people, if they are double vaccinated and they show a negative PCR test before they arrive, I think 72 hours before they arrive, there's no quarantine involved. So that, for me, is the deal breaker or the game changer. Because there's no way that I was going to go back to Australia for 3 weeks and have to spend 2 in self-isolation or quarantine. So thank you, Mr. McGowan, for lifting that restriction. But again, the 5th of February. And what's the date today? 14th of December, I think. So I don't want to speak too soon, because as we have seen with this virus up until now, it constantly changes. The situation constantly changes. I don't want to get too excited or euphoric, because if something goes wrong over the next couple of months, it could really throw a spanner in the works. So the possibility to get back to Australia, and I'm sure a lot of people are happy about that, especially Western Australians, sand gropers as we call ourselves, or at least we used to call ourselves sand gropers. I don't know whether we still do, but West Australians, I'm sure, that are overseas and stuck overseas will be happy. And I'm sure that lots of people from New South Wales, Victoria have already got home and are spending the Christmas period there. This would have been a year that I went back for Christmas, but obviously can't do that yet. So maybe not until April, May, June, July next year will I be able to get back to Perth, Western Australia, and see the family that I have there. So as I said, exciting news, but don't want to get too excited just in case something changes before then. Now I'm coming up to the industrial area turn-off here. I'll work my way to the shopping centre where I'll have a nice coffee, because after my disappointment with the camera, I need a treat, to be honest. So we're coming up to Christmas. I think Christmas this year is going to be different to Christmas last year. Christmas last year was an absolute nightmare for a lot of people. People didn't feel safe travelling. There were a lot of restrictions in place last year. It wasn't easy to travel to different autonomous communities, even though they did open up for Christmas time for residents. Other people weren't allowed to travel freely. We couldn't go to Portugal last year, which is something that we would normally do. And this year completely different, at least from that point of view. There are no internal border restrictions currently here in Spain. You can go wherever you want, whenever you want, no problem at all. And as you guys saw last week, I went down to Andalusia. So that's a pro. Although there are some restrictions, as we know, especially when it comes to the controversial COVID certificate. I think in the Valencian community, you need a COVID certificate to enter a bar or a restaurant. And we saw last week that people in Benidorm, the hoteliers in Benidorm, weren't happy about that. Saw somebody in the comment section criticise me that I said last week that it's better to ask for a COVID certificate than shut the business down altogether. Somebody said that, what's the difference between the two? Well, if you don't understand what the difference is about having a business open and allowing people to come in if they are double vaccinated with a COVID certificate, or having your business closed down and getting no compensation, then I don't really think you understand the principle of business, basically. Because the idea of a business is to be able to trade. And even if you're trading at 80% or 75% or 90%, because here in Spain basically only 10% of the population or less are not vaccinated, so it means that 90% of the population are technically allowed to go into that bar or restaurant if they show that certificate, then that is a huge difference for me, at least. But as I said, some people can't see the difference. And basically these are just people that don't like any restrictions at all. They think that this is some type of joke, that all of the restrictions that are being put in place are some type of way for the government to get more control. And I'm not going to say that governments haven't got more control. In some ways, obviously they have. But it's a pandemic. What can we do? And if your business is allowed to stay open and all you have to do is ask somebody for a COVID certificate at the door for them to be allowed to go into that restaurant and consume as normal, then I don't see the problem. But obviously, if you are not vaccinated and you've come from another country and you go to Benidorm and they don't let you in, you might get a little bit pissed off. But as we say, tough titties. Vamos a aparcar aquí. Go and have a coffee. And hopefully it will cheer me up a little bit after the disappointment of not getting that new camera. Because, let's be honest, there's nothing better than getting something new, right? Now, just turn the engine off. One final thing that I wanted to speak about. I was a bit critical with somebody yesterday who said that I'm part of the problem. And I said at the end of the video that that person should give the video a dislike or a thumbs down. And somebody wrote in the comment section that it's no longer possible to give a thumbs down on YouTube videos. Now, I don't think that that is the case. There's still, the videos that I watch are still a like and a dislike. The only difference is that you, as a viewer, cannot see the amount of dislikes, whereas you could before. So, for example, if you get 1,000 likes and you got 100 dislikes, you were able to see that. But now you can't see the dislikes. YouTube has taken that away. But I can see the dislikes. So, for example, on the video that I did yesterday, even encouraging people to give the video a dislike, the ratio was something like 97 to 3%. So I can see the dislikes. The difference is that you guys can't see the dislikes. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to go and have a coffee. I'll sign the video off. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Let's have a chat about what's going on. If there's any Aussies out there from Western Australia and you're able to get home soon, let us know what you are thinking and if you are happy about Mr. McGowan's decision yesterday or the day before. So I'll sign off. Have a good day. Hasta luego.